So I like to think of myself as someone who tries something new at least once, but that rarely ever extends to music. When it comes to music, there's stuff that I like and I normally stick to what I like. I rarely ever venture forth and listen to something new. But, well, you saw the title, Clueless K-Popper, and I'm a Korean who lives in Korea, but I don't know a thing about K-pop, and I think a little bit of an explanation is in order. Yes, as I just said, I am Korean and I do live in Korea, but I did not always live here. I was actually born in Brunei and I lived there until I was 19. Now, today, with a click of a single button, you can access all the information all around the world whenever you want. But that wasn't so much the case when I was growing up. When I was a kid, we didn't have the internet. There was no YouTube, and so I was not able to listen to any kind of Korean music even if I wanted to. The only kind of Korean music that I ever listened to when I was a kid was the kind of music that my parents listened to. When my parents emigrated to Brunei, they brought with them videotapes and cassette tapes, and they had recorded songs that they enjoyed, and so I'm familiar with Korean music from the 1960s and 1970s, but beyond that, not really all that familiar. Now, back in the 90s, when I was in grade school, I did really listen to Seo boys, Seo idol in Korean, but that phase didn't really last that long. So the kind of music that I listened to were mostly oldies Korean music and a lot of classic rock. So I listened to The Doors, Creedence Clearwater Revival, and the Beatles. But I didn't really listen to much of anything else. Now, aside from the time when I listened to Seo boys when I was in grade school, the only other time when I did really listen to K-pop music was not really out of choice. I listened to K-pop music when I was in the army. I served in the Korean army from 2011 to 2013. And at the time, the only choices that I had when it came to music was either K-pop or Korean army cadence music. And believe me, that little clip that I showed you was one of the better army cadence songs that I had to listen to. The rest were just really god awful. Now, there was another reason as to why I listened to K-pop so much when I was in the Korean army, but that will take us into a whole new other story about Korean army life, and so I'll skip that part. I'll talk about that on a different video. Now, after I got discharged from the army in 2013, I didn't really listen to K-pop again after that. I just didn't have much interest. In fact, I don't even know who the members of BTS are. I don't even know what they look like. Now, I do know that one of the singers in BTS's name is Suga. And the only reason why I know that is some time ago I was writing an article, I don't remember what exactly it was about, but I did mention the Japanese Prime Minister, Suga Yoshihide, and a friend of mine, Nikki, who was reading what I wrote, mistakenly thought that I was talking about Suga. I'm sure it's a joke that both the Japanese Prime Minister and Suga have heard quite a few times already. So why am I now talking about my taste in music? Well, a few days ago I was talking to a friend of mine in Wisconsin, an old college friend, and we were talking about the fact that it's been almost 10 years since I came back to Korea. And she mentioned that it's really weird that I've been living in Korea for this long and I still don't know a thing about K-pop music. In fact, my friend who has spent her entire life in Wisconsin knows much more about K-pop music than I do, and she mentioned that she's more Korean than I am. And, well, I couldn't let that stand. So what I decided to do was I decided to use this YouTube channel to actually broaden my musical repertoire. I decided to use this opportunity to get to know more about the musical tastes of my peers. Get jiggy with it, if you will. Sorry, I will never use that phrase again. But anyway, in order to do that, I'm gonna need your help. I don't know where to start. I can list BTS or Blackpink or NCT from the top of my head, but I don't know any of their songs, and I don't know which ones are good, which ones are not as good. So if you could recommend me a song, if you know one that I should start out listening to and list that group or song title down in the comment section, that'd be most helpful. So what I'll do is that I'll pick one of those songs that you leave behind in the comment section, and I will choose one of them and make a reaction video to that song. And assuming that there's no English translation for some of those songs, I will also provide a English lyrical translation. So as I said earlier, I don't tend to be open to trying new music. So I'm not sure if this experiment will turn me into a K-pop fan, but at the very least, I think this will be educational. So yeah, that's the end of this video. As I said, if you have any song recommendations, list it down below. And if you like this video, don't forget to click on the like and subscribe buttons. My name is John Lee, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.